In this tutorial, I'm going to talk about keyboard shortcuts. There are people who are just not too handy with a mouse. And for some of them, it might work better to just use the keys on the keyboard of your computer to do things that you want or need to do. I found this, which is a Windows discussion of keyboard shortcuts, put out by good old friendly Microsoft, by Googling keyboard shortcuts Windows 7. I could have Googled keyboard shortcuts Windows XP and found a different tutorial. Here's one right here, also put out by Microsoft. So let's look at what Windows has to say about keyboard shortcuts. They say that they are combinations of two or more keys that when pressed can be used to perform a task that would normally require a mouse or another pointing device. And Microsoft gives you places down here to find individual keyboard shortcuts for individual tasks. Well, we could go through that in that mode, but I'd rather start by just showing you something that I do every weekend, which uses only keyboard shortcuts, no mouse, and which I learned to do on my first computer, I think, because it didn't have a mouse. Every weekend I download about 1,000 stock prices, and I do it all without touching the mouse. Now, I'm not suggesting that these are the keyboard shortcuts that you should learn. I just want to illustrate to you how easy it is to do that. I have the URLs to get at these stock prices saved in my bookmarks in Firefox. So I pull up that, I'm now just using my keyboard. I pull up that set of bookmarks, and I go to this one over here that is, I'm going to use my mouse just to point at the things I'm looking at. I use this one over here to point at the one I want, and then I type enter when I get there, and it says, do you want to open it or do you want to save? I can move that with my up and down arrow keys, and I pick open with Lotus 1, 2, 3, and it opens in Lotus 1, 2, 3, and then I go to save it, and I type in the thing that I want to save it, the name that I want to save it with, type the enter key, and I'm done with that particular set of stocks. Let's go back and look at what I did more slowly. I'm now typing the Alt key, and then with my other index finger, I'm typing the B key. The reason I'm typing the B key is that when I type the Alt key, it puts underlines, if they aren't already there, under the letters for each one of these drop-down menus. And so when I type Alt and B, I'm going to see the drop-down menu for bookmarks. So I'm holding down the Alt key, typing the B key, and there are my bookmarks. Now I can navigate through these bookmarks with, I'm up at the top between these two, show all bookmarks and bookmark this page. I'm doing that with my arrow keys. When I get down here, I have a folder that shows the weekly stock downloads, and when I type my right arrow key, it essentially does, it essentially does this. It comes over here and opens this. Here I am typing the right arrow key and it opens it, and here I am typing the left arrow key and I'm still holding the Alt key down, and it closes that right set of menus. And when I then come down with the arrow key to STKZTOP, which is the first set of stocks I want to download, I now type the Enter key, and it brings up the dialog box for, do I want to open this or save it? When I type the Enter key again, it's the same as clicking the OK button. So I'm now typing the Enter key, and it opens that set of stocks in Lotus 123. Now, I want to save this set of stocks. Well, once again, you notice up here at the top, I'm just using my mouse to illustrate. I'm not going to do anything with it. You notice that there are no underlines under this menu. All right, I am now going to hold down the Alt key. There, now all of a sudden the underline showed up again. And now I'm going to type F, which is going to drop the menu down for File. And now you notice that in File, there are letters underlined in each one of these menu choices. Those are the letters that you type to do that thing. So if I want to save as, I hold my Alt key down and I type the A key, and it brings up the Save As window. Now let's just look around in this Save As window and learn something else that you can do with keyboard shortcuts. You see, I'm right now, the cursor is here in the file name. So I could go in and type a file name to save this, as I just did. I typed test. But supposing I want to do something else in this window. If I type the Tab key once, it moves to the next box in this open window. I type the Tab key again, it goes to another place to save. I type the Tab key again, it goes to cancel. I type the Tab key again, it goes to help. And if I type the Enter button, or the Enter key right now, it'll bring up the help menu for this window. I can keep moving around. I'm typing the Tab key again and again and again and again and again, and I can keep moving around in that window or any other window that is open to do things with the keyboard. Now let's illustrate some keyboard shortcuts, doing something that you are more likely to do than download 1,000 stocks every weekend. Let's talk about Word keyboard shortcuts. So I've typed Word keyboard shortcuts here in my Google search box, and lo and behold, the first thing that comes up is a support@microsoft.com document that talks about keyboard shortcuts for Office. And if you come down here, you will be able to go for Word 2003, which is what I'm still using. You can go to keyboard shortcuts for Word 2003. And now you can look up the things that you need to learn how to do using keyboard shortcuts if you are mouse challenged. If you use Word a lot and you want to see whether using the keyboard shortcuts would help you, I would suggest you start here with common tasks done in a Microsoft Word document. And when you click there, you will find things like decreasing font size, increasing font size. You hold down the Control key and the Shift key, and you type the less than key. That's the key, the same key as your comma key. And to increase font size, you type Control Shift and the same key as your period key. You can make letters bold, you can make letters italic by typing Control plus B or Control plus I. But let me just show you one other set of things you can do regarding the help menu. If you come from Common Tasks done in a Word document up to Access and Use Task panes, and you look at that, it talks about opening task panes by Control plus F1 and moving to task panes by typing F6. Let's go to work in Word and do that. Control plus F1 I just typed, and Control plus F1 I just typed again. You notice it pulls up the Microsoft Office Online search for the help place. Well, supposing I want to get around in that without using my mouse, I would type F6, and that gets me there. And once I type F6, I can now type the Tab key, and each time I type the Tab key, as you see over here, I'm going to a different place in this particular getting started. Connect to micro. Here's where we are right now. I type the Tab key again. Here's where we are. I type the Tab key again. Here's where we are, and I can eventually get to there where I could search for. I could type something in that I want to search for. That's just one more illustration of things you can do with keyboard shortcuts. My suggestion is go home, go to your Google search box, type in the program that you're interested in, and then the word keyboard shortcuts, and search, go, try it, and learn.